Hi, Panda here, and recently at the Nintendo Partner Showcase, Square Enix revealed a brand new HD 2D game called The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. So I've had a quick chance to play the preview. There's a bit like an early demo that's just come out, so I've had a go of that, and here's my preview, so my thoughts about the game that comes out next year for the Nintendo Switch 2. So first up, the obvious thing, this is a HD 2D game. This is sort of Square Enix's ongoing sort of graphical style. It's like pixels, but kind of like really high definition, it's clear, but like 2D sprites, but like in 3D environments, all made popular by their game Octopath Traveler. Now here are my thoughts on The Adventures of Elliot. First, I love the visuals to start with. I like this HD 2D look. It hasn't got old for me yet, but like I like pixel games anyway, so I can't imagine it getting old. It might not be as quite as like shocking as it first was when it came out with the Octopath Traveler, but overall I think it looks good, and I kind of like the character designs and the enemy designs in this game. Gameplay wise, it's a real-time combat game, sort of like in the style of Legend of Zelda, the 2D ones. So slightly like isometric to some degree, over the top view. It's hard to explain, it's not quite like Diablo isometric. But you sort of just go around with your sword and your shield, and you've got a fairy that helps you. And yeah, it's real-time combat, you can guard and get parry attacks. And it plays really well. Now, the fairy does give you some extra abilities. The one ability I struggled with was the speed boost, where the fairy like literally like you go really fast, but it's a little bit harder to control your character, and I kept bashing into things, so that one might take a little while. But I can see on the dial that it comes up that you can choose a couple of different abilities, so I'm intrigued to see more of that. You can jump, that's one big difference here as well. And that, to me, adds lots of possibilities. As I saw later on in the preview, that there'll be like platforms to jump on, and to be honest, the platforming was fine. There wasn't anything particularly tricky, so as long as they don't make any tricky platforming later on in the game, it should be fine. And what also helps, that sort of comes into the puzzles, because even the boss fight was sort of like, well, I've got to figure out these puzzles, and there were things where you've got to jump on lily pads to avoid like a blast. They had like lily pads that sort of floated in the air, and you jumped on them at the right time. Linking onto the boss there, boss in the preview was really interesting. Definitely some interesting mechanics there. The dungeon I went through had some sort of light puzzles to figure out. There were like panels in the wall you had to destroy by, it was like these weird monsters that were like sucking in air, and you had to like drop a bomb and it suck in and blow it up. And there were also certain switches to find to activate things. If you've played a Legend of Zelda game, you kind of get the vibe from the dungeon. It didn't go quite as hard as the dungeons Legend of Zelda, but obviously this is just a preview early on in the game, so it might get more complex. I found the inventory really easy to use to equip new weapons or sort of health packs or abilities. The overall world was easy to navigate. It has like a map, and yeah, I didn't find it too tricky. And the music definitely sounds like it came straight out of a Final Fantasy game, which is fantastic news in my case. And overall, when I played this preview build, this demo, if you want to call it that, I was really intrigued. Like, I want to get this. This is a game I'm going to add to my wish list. So unless they really mess it up, and I haven't got round to playing any of these HD 2D games, even though I really like the look of it. I've not played Octopath Traveler yet, or Project Triangle Strategy, or whatever they decide to call it in the end. They're on my list to get. But this could be where I start the HD 2D adventure, because this looks really good and it felt really good. And I'm really into Final Fantasy games anyway, but having real-time combat is a bonus. I do like turn-based combat, but sometimes I want to like really get in there, but like with the sword and hack and slashing, and anything that sort of gives me a vibe of Final Fantasy is always good, because Final Fantasy to me always had like these great grand stories and adventures. So I'd be interested to see what other characters appear in The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. I don't know much about the story yet. It was kind of like a little bit basic at the beginning of the game. It's just sort of like, oh, you're talking to this hero and you've got to go off on this adventure. It didn't really stick with me, but usually Final Fantasy games to me, once you start playing and you get to know the characters, I get like really absorbed. I'm like, oh, this is a great set of characters. So I'm hoping for that. And it had got voice acting as well. I played in Japanese because I usually prefer the Japanese voices and have subtitles, but you can choose English dub if you want as well. And there you go. Thank you for joining us on this quick preview. I'm looking forward to joining. I'm looking forward to playing The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales in 2026. If you're interested in playing it, or if you've played any other HD 2D games, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. I want to say a big thank you to our Patrons, Ko-fi donations and Twitch subscribers that all help support the channel. If you want to know how to help support the channel, or just want to give a donation, all links in below. We really do appreciate it, and it helps us the channel going. So we'll see you next time. Bye!